Howdy. So I'm going to be enjoying a nice cup of Red Label tea, condensed milk, and chalky syrup, but I'm serving up a pitcher of Haterade in this one. This is for the book Bear Witness by Lark O, Jensen, which is the debut of the Alaska Untamed mystery series. I feel sort of icky about it since this was a NetGalley read, meaning I got to read it in advance and for free, and there was nothing like appallingly bad about it, but you know, the whole point is supposed to be honest reviews, and this was actually a series I was super excited for. I mean, I am about to roast it like the Christmas vacation turkey, but I want y'all to keep in mind that I was really excited for this arc, because I thought it was such a fresh idea in a genre that has covered so very many ideas in its 60 years or so that it has existed. The occupational theme of this one is Alaskan wildlife cruise. I really do think it had a lot of potential. Our main character, Stacy, is a guide on one of these tour boats, the Clem Elk, and she has some sort of relevant degree. I read this months ago, so let's just say animalology. And she had some prior experience at a zoo or something. So she's got this really dope job, like pointing out baby harbor seals and seabirds and things, and there's so much room to go into detail on that, but it never does. So, like, one of my favorite books ever is The Martian. It came out not long before I started college in engineering, so the material was already up my alley, and the gift that Andy Weir has to impart all this honestly pretty dry technical information so clearly and so concisely and so interestingly in the middle of a narrative just blew my mind. I love it. I am still constantly looking for things that have that kind of non-fiction filling in a fiction donut. So I thought I'd get this here. And you do get a handful of like fun wildlife facts, but there were very few of them, and they were very front-loaded in the book. I really expected to learn a little more about Alaskan wildlife and, like, the ecosystems there. You know, the way most cozies will walk you through the minutiae of, like, icing a cake or basting a quilt or something. But, it didn't do that. It's even weirder because this girl is, like, ostensibly obsessed with wildlife biology. Like, it shows her going home after work, like, after her 9 to 5, all this, and watching another documentary on, like, bonobos or whatever, reading books about it, and even just, like, casually Googling animal photos, which I thought was a little odd. It talks about how much she loves wildlife, and how much of her time it takes up, and how everything she owns is wildlife-themed, and so it's like, if this really is, like, her only interest, it doesn't really mention others, then why doesn't she actually tell us any animal science, man? Like, why isn't it more relevant to the plot? Another thing is, this made me feel like I was falling through some sort of, like, recursive wormhole, because they spend nearly the whole book just walking laps around this boat again and again, before the tours were halted, as well as after. And Stacy talks just incessantly about how much she loves her job and her employers, and she can never imagine another job, and just it is a lot. She says this many, many times in the book. So yeah, no one ever really had anything to do, and the cast of characters was pretty limited. My biggest complaint overall is just like how redundant this book is. The mystery just kind of happens in front of you. What we all love in a cozy is getting clues and having the chance to, like, beat the author to the punch, right? But you just aren't ever given substantial clues to work with here. The killer's revealed without any real lead-up, and I didn't think the motive was plausible. One more bone to pick with this book is the cop boyfriend. But it's worse than a normal cozy mystery cop boyfriend. For one thing, there's a scene where Stacy just, like, Karen's out because her coworkers aren't falling over themselves to do whatever Liam tells them to, like, immediately on the boat that they own, or at least work at, which was both weird and annoying. I thought their relationship moved really quickly and really inexplicably. It was like they just both thought the other was really hot, but at the same time, I have had better chemistry with a bag of shredded cheddar at 2 a.m. than I ever saw in their interactions in this book. There's also the fact that Liam, the cop boyfriend, is Native American, but nothing else about the violence perpetuated by the state against Indigenous people is ever brought up. Not like the outright police brutality that they suffer at, I think, the highest rate, or about like the appalling number of murders of Indigenous women that go unsolved. So, I thought that was questionable. His culture really isn't brought up much at all in the book. Certainly not in detail. I don't know. Maybe that's fine. He seems like he's really just supposed to be this himbo character, but I don't know. I actually need y'all's input on that. I'm not sure what I think. And, there's probably more to goof on in this book that I don't remember because it's been so long since I read it now. I will say I loved the Husky. We love Sasha. Sasha was cool. But yeah, I hope book 2 finds its footing somehow. I do think this premise could make a really fun and interesting series. Maybe you have like a wealthy family on a private tour and I don't know, one pushes the other overboard. I don't know. I could think of many ways this could go, and none of them were what was printed. But yeah. So y'all take care. Bye.